Welcome to Houston Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Shannon Register, and we are your voice for Texas real estate news and information you can use. We're coming to you today from the RREA.com studio over in Spring, Texas. You can join us here every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. for all the latest real estate news and information that's going on, both locally and nationally. You can also watch videos of the show and find out more at HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. We're also on iTunes. You can find us there, and you can stream us live from the website. If you've got a real estate question that you'd like for us to answer, you can call us anytime at the studio at 281-882-8088, and we'd be happy to answer your real estate questions on the air. And you may be eligible for a gift card from our friends over at Lowe's. Today we've got a very special show lined up for you as we start to get ready to celebrate Veterans Day this week. My guest today is Eric Story, and he's going to tell us about the Texas Honor Ride. So welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having us.
So how was the Texas, well, first tell us, what is the Texas Honor Ride? What are you guys all about?
We're all about raising funds for taking care of the needs, improving the lives of our wounded troops from all branches as they're being treated at Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio. And it's not just their physical needs, but it's the needs of the family as well.
Well, and I think I have heard that when people are recovering from the sort of injuries that most people at the hospital have, it's a very long recovery. And that's not a long recovery necessarily in the hospital. Sometimes it can be out of the hospital. And so you're staying in hotels or wherever you can stay so that you can get back to the hospital if you need to, and you can go for treatments. So even though you're out of the hospital, you can't go home yet.
That's correct.
So you guys are helping a lot with that.
Now, while they're actually in the hospital as inpatients, they're staying at Fisher, the family staying at Fisher House. But as soon as they go to outpatient, then they're on their own. And this is a lot of times where the funds we raise come in to help. And it could be anything from diapers and formula for the baby. Because what most people don't understand is that when that warrior shows up there, the first call goes out to his spouse or his parents. And they're told they need to come over to help with his care. And of course, that's because when the family's around, they will heal up faster. But it puts quite a financial strain on the family because the young spouse has to give up what job she had,
right?
Pick up the baby and come over. There's all the added expenses there, and so we may be taking care of diapers or formula. She may have been taking care of that warrior for 3 months without end and needs to get away for a little bit, and so our funds may be used to help for a little rest. But just going and getting her hair done and her nails done, something to get out and do something for herself. But we've also paid for emergency surgeries, and we paid for for other areas, and we just want to be there to help these families because they've sacrificed so much for us.
They really have, and I have heard that when they have their families with them, they do have a faster and better recovery than if they're there alone and their families are, wherever they're from, halfway across the country, wherever that may be. Right. So they have a faster recovery when the families are there.
We have one of the families, actually the parents lived here in the Houston area, and they went to help because the wife was 8 months pregnant, and of course she was not going to be able to be a whole lot of help to him at this point. And the government, I know you won't believe this, but the government messed up on her TRICARE. And she needed emergency surgery, emergency oral surgery, and our funds were there to help her. And like I said, she was well along in her pregnancy, and then our funds were also there to help her parents be able to stay, or his parents rather, to be able to stay for a few weeks to help out during that same period of time. And it's nothing but the grace of God that he's still with us. And now they all live here in the Houston area, and that couple is soon to move just very close to the station here.
Fantastic. That's fabulous. That's a great story. Those are the kind of heroic and happy ending stories that we like to hear. A lot of them are very tragic, but when you've got a hero and they have a happy ending, it's really nice to hear about.
Well, we hear once in a while, we hear the numbers of the deaths that have taken place, and one American life is very costly.
It's too much.
Costly. But for every one that is killed, there's 5 to 10 that are wounded, and most of those are severe in this particular type of war because of the IEDs. It's lost limbs, it's severe burns, it's a traumatic brain injury, and without a place like Brooke Army Medical Center and the care that they provide and the Warrior and Family Support Center provides there, these folks couldn't make it.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing the work that they do there at the hospital. And like you said, they treat not just, it's on an Army base, but they don't treat just Army. They treat all branches. Tell us about Texas Honor Ride. It is, it's a lot of bikers, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And we have more and more four-wheelers joining us as well now. Matter of fact, this year we had a Mustang Club from Montgomery County that's joined with us, and they're planning on actually taking the ride with us in November.
Oh, that's fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, we have... This last year on our November ride, we had 650 motorcycles on a police escorted ride from Houston to San Antonio.
Wow.
And when they arrived into San Antonio, the last 10 or so overpasses were lined with people from San Antonio area with flags waving. It's dangerous. It's hard to ride a motorcycle when you're crying because of just the overwhelming support from the community.
Yeah.
I mean, San Antonio is a military town, but these are people that care. They really care about what's going on with our warriors.
You know, there may be some people out there listening that want to get involved in an organization like this. If they want to get involved, one, how can they get involved? And two, you know, what can they do physically, and how can they donate if they want to donate?
They can go to www.texashonorride.org, and all of the answers are there.
Okay.
They can sign up for our email blast, which will let them know when something's coming up.
Okay, so they know when to ride.
Right.
All right.
And it's not just a ride. We're doing planning throughout the whole year, so we're always looking for more volunteers to take part in the actual putting together of our events, and of course we're always looking for more and more people to take part in just enjoying the events as well, because our events are not only very enjoyable, lots of fun, and family-oriented. But they raise a lot of funds to take care of the needs of these that have done so much for us.
And that's the most important thing.
Yes, it is.
That's the most important thing. So who started this organization?
There was a group of 5 Christian bikers who walked out of church, the Cowboy Church in Montgomery, about 7 years ago. And they walked out after service. And they said, you know, we need to do something for our wounded troops and their families. And they decided that they would key in on those being treated at BAMC because it was the closest one to us, and hoping to raise $5,000 the first year, and they raised $60,000. And starting with 5 bikers, like I said, last year we had 650 bikes on the ride, and this year we're expecting 750 at least.
Wow, that's great. And it's a charity. It's a nonprofit. Is that right?
That's correct. It is a 501c3.
So the donations are tax deductible.
That's correct.
Okay. And it's run all by volunteers, is that right?
That's a fact.
Completely volunteer.
We even pay our own expenses.
Yeah. How did you get involved?
Well, I was riding on a Patriot Guard mission. And
tell us what that is, because some people at home may not know what Patriot Guard is.
The Patriot Guard is a fantastic organization. It is also independent bikers that come together to honor those that have given the ultimate sacrifice. They've lost their lives, and to honor their families. And it was actually started by just a handful, who said, we don't want to see a Vietnam happen again. We want these people, when they're laid to rest, to see honor and to be honored properly. And then, as a side note, when this group up in Kansas decided they would start protesting at the deaths of the funerals of our fallen heroes, they happened to be there to be able to shield the family from seeing them, and to be placed between them so that the family never had to even know they were there, and to continue to honor. So we were on one of these missions one day, and I met Terry Muhlenberg, who was the president at that time, and we began to talk about it, and I said, okay, I'm going to start coming to your meetings. And, just kind of got hooked because, I, like everybody else who's gotten involved, have a burden, have a real care we have to take care of these guys and their families.
Absolutely. And I mean, the government does a lot for them as far as paying for their medical care. And I mean, there are a lot of expenses that the government pays for, but there are so many expenses that come after an injury and during recovery and even post-recovery, when you're starting your life over, that nobody ever thinks about all those expenses. I mean, there is a lot to rebuilding your life.
Right. And they're taken care of, the wound is initially taken care of there at the hospital, and when it's outpatient care. But these guys at some point retire. They're maybe medically discharged. It starts piling up on them. And, they may have some benefits that help there, but they still have to put a lot out themselves. And so while they're being treated, while they're still undergoing care at the center, is what our current mission is and where our funds go. Now, what we do is We actually write 2 checks each year, one to the Department of the Army that's earmarked for the Warrior and Family Support Center, and then one to Purple Heart Foundation that we can get that Judith, who runs the Warrior and Family Support Center, can get her hands on immediately when she needs it. So it's all channeled through her, because she knows exactly what their needs are, and she's there on site. And we trust her implicitly to take care of those needs.
That's great. That's great. Upcoming events. What if people want to get involved? What are some upcoming events you have going on?
Well, our next one is November 10th. It's it's the Marine Corps birthday. It is also always done at this time of the year. It's the Saturday before Veterans Day.
Okay.
We do a police escorted ride from Houston to San Antonio. We spend time on the base with our wounded troops and their families. We have lunch with them, have some entertainment. This year we've got a special speaker coming. Former Lieutenant Colonel Brian Birdwell, who was in the Pentagon on 9/11 and was having a meeting in the Pentagon in his office, and got up and walked around the corner to take care of something when the plane hit his office and killed everybody that was in his office. Mr. Birdwell was injured, he was burnt, and he was treated at BAMC. And he is now Texas State Senator Brian Birdwell, and he's going to be there to visit with the troops and to share a few words with us. So we may have a special speaker like himself, and then we end up the program by giving some awards to those who are our Chrome supporters. Now, our Chrome supporters are, because we're motorcyclists, our Chrome supporters are the top level. And,
how fitting!
And we have several of those, and we give an award to those each year, and we'll present those awards, and then we'll present the the large check with the funds that we have accumulated at that point. And generally, it's another month before we write the actual check because more funds come in.
Fabulous. That's great. So the website, again, if you're interested, is texasonoride.org. And when you go to that website, it tells you everything that they do for the soldiers and their families, and how you can donate, and how you can get involved if you want to join the ride. I'm Shanna Register, and I'm proud to be your voice for Texas real estate here in Houston, the 4th largest real estate market in the country. If you're streaming us on HoustonRealEstateRadio.com, we appreciate you tuning in from all over the country and from different parts of the world. We'll be right back with more right after this commercial break.